Right way to go forward, particularly amid the ongoing energy and cost of living crisis, where members of the public are struggling to heat their homes, and just how expensive will this all be as well? I mean, we know that heat pumps are exorbitant. What do you think? How can these plans actually happen? Labour have also pledged to ban fracking once and for all, but how do they intend to account for the loss of energy source? So for the Great British Debate this hour, I'm asking, is Labour's decarbonisation policy by 2030 viable? I'm joined now by the former CEO of Energy UK, Angela Knight. Angela, thank you very much for joining me. So, Angela, they've got this vision that we'll all be using electricity, I'm presuming, so there's no fossil fuels or anything else like that. We're just using electricity. What changes to the infrastructure do you think that need to be made to actually make that possible? Because I'm thinking in my head, electric cars, nobody can have a petrol car by 2030. Is that what they're saying?
No, I think what they're saying is decarbonise the electricity market, not the energy market. So they're saying of all the means that we make electricity by 2030, we're only going to do it by green sources. That's as I understand it. And I do agree with you that they've sort of wobbled between saying energy and electricity, but actually they've come down on electricity. So that means you'll still have gas central heating if you've got it, gas cooking if you've got it, and you will also still be able to run your car. But it still is a huge challenge. And to my mind, it's being explained in a way that is, well, I'm going to use the expression less than honest.
Me, the way they've sort of described this is as though they don't quite understand what they're saying when they say decarbonisation, because we don't understand it, because they haven't really explained it. So it's very vague.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so if you look at it like this, what they're saying is, well, right now, and it's quite correct, generating electricity from wind is much cheaper than generating electricity from gas. We've got the problems, long-term problems of gas are going to be there, not at the same situation as we have at the moment. But if the wind is cheaper, then let's go for wind, and that's how we're going to decarbonise the electricity. There is a very big but here, and the but is, what are you going to do if that is your policy for the times when the wind doesn't blow? Now, and some will say, well, you can store the electricity. Yes, you can, but you can't store it for a long time, and we don't have all the technology available to produce some sort of battery farms, battery factories, battery acreage to store electricity anyway. Others say, well, why don't you store it by electrolysis of water, so you've kind of got it stored as hydrogen, if you like, and then burn the hydrogen. Well, that's possible too, but the technology issues and the infrastructure issues there are so big that even the hydrogen industry, the pro-hydrogen people, are not talking anything like 2030 other than a trial. So the only way you can take carbon out of electricity production is increase wind, but also build small-scale nuclear reactors. Now, you can build one of those, say, every year or so between now and 2030. Well, we've only got whatever it is, about 8 years left. So say that's say you get 8 or 10 there. That's not enough. And that's going to cost you 20, 25, 30 billion. And then if on the other side of the divide, you're also going to build more wind farms and more solar, that's more billion. Well, right now, people are saying we're not prepared to pay these costs because all you're doing is adding it on the bill. And so what you pay for and who pays for it and how much is very, very important. And 2030 strikes me as just one of those conference announcements that you make, let's beat the other parties, we'll show you we can be greener than them. If they actually talked about how much we're all going to have to pay, whether it's on general taxation or on our bills, common sense would prevail and we'd have a sensible timetable. Because every time you build one quantum of wind or one quantum of sun, you've got to build exactly the same amount of backup. So it's double the cost.